Hey everyone, and welcome to After Hours. Tonight I have a really fun guest on the show. She's going to take us through this really cool mat that she has. But before we get started, I want you to be able to look and see I'm not in my normal spot that I am usually. I am down in Houston, Texas for the International Quilt Market and Festival these next 2 weeks. But I didn't want you to not have your Thursday night video because I know a lot of you love the education side of it and being able to recap that on the weekend. So I was able to bring in a guest that's going to talk to us about this wool mat that she has that is incredible. But before we get started, please make sure you're subscribed to our channel. If you're watching us on YouTube, it's right down at that bottom right-hand corner. If you're watching us on Facebook or even on our very own website, make sure you're liking and subscribing to our newsletter to stay up to date with daily updates from Linda's. Without further ado, I'm going to bring in Kelly. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Corey.
How are you?
Oh, doing great today. Super excited to be here with you.
Good. I'm excited that you are here with me as well. For a little bit of context for everybody, Kelly and I met at H&H this past year, and she has this product that is on the table in front of you. And we were chatting real briefly about the product, and I said, I'd love to have this on our website, and we made it happen that day, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And we've got them available. But Kelly, if you'll give us a little bit of background about yourself, and then let's just dive into this product, because as I learned about it at H&H, I said, oh my gosh, I've got to have one. So I think everyone needs to have one.
Well, awesome. That's how I feel too. So I actually got into quilting because my mom wanted us to have t-shirt quilts. And so that's what we always did when we went on vacation. We got t-shirts to save them as souvenirs to eventually make a t-shirt quilt. And so somewhere around the age of 25, I was ready to give up my t-shirts, and we went ahead and we pieced them together. My mom was not a quilter. She was of the generation that made a lot of her own clothing, so she had really good sewing skills. So she helped with the t-shirt quilt. And then I took it to a quilt shop, and I didn't even know the right words. I said, I need someone to quilt this and, like have a long armor quilt it. And they said, oh, you can do that. And I'm like, no, I don't. I've got this little sewing machine. It's a brother. It's little. They're like, no, you can quilt it. Just come take a class with us. And so I have to say that lady at that store totally changed my life. Aww. So this many years later, not only did I take that class, I learned how to do free motion quilting. I got really interested, and I upgraded my machine to a nice Bernina. Then I ended up, I lead a quilt club. So I live in Peoria, Illinois, and I lead a quilt club here. I'm in charge of our Quilts of Valor organization locally. I teach classes at a quilt club, and I even have a long arm business. So I have just a little bit. I have a little bit of everything going on.
Yeah, and that's just a little bit.
Just a little bit, right? And that's different than my day job. I'm actually an engineer, and I work at Caterpillar Tractor Company.
So you just got a little bit of stuff going on. Nothing crazy though. Just a few things. Yeah, just a few things. So talk to us about this wool mat that you have in front of you, and why this is a game changer for so many quilters and piecers.
Sure. So I like to make a lot of quilts with triangles and stars, and these can be tricky to press because when you are pressing, you're pressing on the bias. Right. And so I asked my husband for help, and I said, hey, come over here, look at my ironing board. I want to draw lines with a Sharpie so that I can have a straight line to press my triangle against. And he didn't think that was a very good idea, as you can probably imagine. And he was shocked to find out that there's not anything like this on the market anymore. So we have small available that have grid lines from other companies. Yeah. But I wanted something big, and this is as big as my own ironing board. So it's actually 60 by 22.
And that's a real good size.
I was like, if you're going to do that, let's do it on wool, because everybody knows wool is just giving us extra heat reflection and extra precision whenever we actually do our pressing.
Right.
So as also an engineer, so he worked all of that out. And then not only did we decide to print it with the 30, 45, and 60 degree angles, which work really well for my star quilts, but we went ahead and printed it with the 1-inch grid. So this was something that I really kind of didn't even realize until I started using it, how much nicer it is to be able to have a straight line. So if you're ironing out your binding, like I'm kind of demoing here, you don't realize how much you can bow in that process. which
Yeah. Well,
we know will go, right.
but it's like you said, when I was watching your demonstration, and then I've got my little studio pop up here in Houston that I'm working on. I was sewing some strips for this quilt behind me, and when I'm ironing, you never really know how much you are bowing the strip until you get it to the machine. You're like, oh my gosh, now I have to redo this.
Absolutely. And I like we know we bow and teachers tell us to be careful and we talk about pressing techniques and things like that, right? To bow less. It just
Right.
really helps whenever you have a straight line.
Yeah.
And then also for a block or a normal strip set, even whenever you're going to press this and iron it straight, it's just a game changer to be able to have that straight line there to be able to line up against. And I always position these kind of like this, so I have a straight line down here to meet. And so I think it makes my blocks better, and my husband says it makes my squares more square.
I love that so much. Now, I also want you to talk about kind of, I know some wool pressing mats are a little bit thinner. I believe yours is a half
Oh,
inch, which is a really good thickness.
yes, it is a
Yeah.
really good thickness. I will tell you that some of my friends, when I first started selling these, they thought they were too big and they wanted them smaller. So
Uh-huh.
even though it is a half inch, you can cut it with like an X-Acto knife or some other type of razor blade if you want a smaller one. So it's not impossible to cut.
Oh, so you can have like a little tiny retreat one if you want.
Yes, exactly.
I like
And
that.
then also it's only printed on one side. So yes, I'm sure the printing's not actually going to stay on forever and ever and ever for as long as we're quilters. So if you flip it back and forth whenever you're not using the lines and you use the blank side, you'll get a little more life out of it.
Oh, wonderful idea. Now you've got this cute little carrying case to the side here. What is that?
Right. Yep. This is a little felt tote, and the big mats like this, they come in this bag. They're rolled up tight. And then it's just easier if you do want to take it to class, or if you're the type of quilter where you have to, bring things out of a closet and then quilt and then put them back away. Makes it a little easier to put away with the case.
Fantastic. I love this. So now tell me again, you said the size was 22 by 60?
Yes, that's correct.
22 by 60. Okay. I think that's just an incredible thing. And like I was telling you, and like I told the people in the beginning, I need probably two or three of these. I need one in every spot that I'm always in. Because even like I said, when I was working on this quilt this past week while I've been down here, I was always accidentally just ironing off to the side a little bit and then getting
Yes.
frustrated and saying words that probably don't need to be said out loud at the fabric. But having those lines and those angles work really well. Now, you mentioned that you really liked those angle lines for your stars. Can you talk to us a little bit about what that kind of that ability that gives you? Because some folks might not understand
Oh,
what that
sure.
means.
Um, Basically, what I would say is this piece is a couple pieces already pieced together. So let's something like this, and now I have this top that I've just stitched on. So there's my stitching line. So usually you would kind of just iron it out and do it flat. I'm really careful to make sure that I would take the piece that is the bottom of the ironing piece and the piece that is the top of the ironing piece and line them up on the same grid line
Hmm.
so that as I'm positioning that there, I have a nice straight line. I would even pull this little piece up here. I don't know how well you can see it, I'm sorry.
No,
And
it's good.
and want this to be square so that I'm sure that I don't distort this out of its 90-degree angle while I'm ironing and keeping that straight. So, like I said,
Perfect.
it really works well. Like on the, whenever I was thinking I wanted to do it for angles,
Yeah.
to a 45-degree angle. And all right, we've got this hole down here and now this 45-degree line. But I've gotten pretty good at used to doing it just on any of the grid lines.
That's really great. Another question that I get from people when they're looking at investing in a wool mat. I know your wool mat is made out of high quality, 100% New Zealand wool. Is that
Yes.
correct?
New Zealand.
Good. So what's really great about that, everyone that's listening and watching, is she can you spray, the best press or the starch on
Oh,
top of
sure.
it with the fabric, the water, all that kind of stuff, and it's not going to affect the wool. It's not going to clump up. There are different ones on the market that do that. So I like
Okay.
that call out that you've got that really high quality wool in there.
Well, good. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Do you have any other tidbits that you want to share with us about the mat that may be something we might not have thought about, or another use case for it? Everyone's always looking for little tips.
Oh, sure. We actually do have our sign here, and it also reminds you that I learned from some of my friends that are weavers or crocheters that they'll do a lot of blocking with their blocks. So kind of the same idea of after they do that hand knitting to lay it out and actually use the grid lines to block. Usually spray it with something, make it a little wet, right? But if you
Right.
pretend like that would be a pot holder or something, then that worked really well for those crafts.
Awesome. Wow, look at all these things we're learning tonight. I am so excited. Well, Kelly, thank you so much for hopping on with us this evening and showing us your product. Now, for everyone that's watching and you're thinking, okay, now I've got to have one of these immediately, myself included, you can hop over to our website, lindas.com. I will also have it linked in the description below. But Kelly, what is the exact naming format of this? It's the 22 by 60-inch grid printed wool pressing mat.
That's perfect.
That's
Yep.
got it. Okay.
Yep.
And what's really great about this relationship that we have with Kelly is we work really closely with her. So we have her products available on our website, and when you purchase them, Kelly actually packs it all together and ships it from her location to you. So it's a really great way that we at Linda's Help like to work with small businesses to get their products out in front of more people, especially this incredible product that you've got.
Awesome. Thanks, Corey.
You're welcome. Alrighty, everyone, that was our incredible episode tonight with Kelly. Like I said, you can find this product available on our website, lindas.com. I will also have it linked in the description below. Hop over and grab one right now because you are definitely going to, grab more than one actually. You're definitely going to want to have this in your quilting arsenal. I will see you next time. Bye.